Hello and welcome to the Sparta Mayor Manager Show. I'm Mayor Wes Bruniger, and alongside is my town manager, Brian Edwards. And Brian, here we are at the holiday season with a lot of stuff going on in our small town, and not long before Santa Claus gets here.
Well, it's moving pretty quickly, Mayor, and I will say things are certainly busy, and I think our town's been busy. I tell you, the last couple of weeks, as I ride through in the evenings, a lot of activity. So even with the construction, things are pressing on. In fact, last Thursday evening, they had a ladies' night out and extended store hours for a lot of the businesses downtown, and all the reports I heard were very encouraging, and that people are coming out and supporting our local businesses, and we certainly appreciate that.
And we want to encourage everybody to continue doing that. Last month, the November meeting, of course, was also election night there for our meeting. But the first thing that we done, we got to recognize some special young men and some coaches there from our youth Super Bowl champions. The K2 team, the 3-4 team, won their Super Bowl championships this year. And I just want to say what a great asset that is. These young men have come a long way. And we had all 4 teams in the playoffs, which is for only the second time in our history. Mm-hmm. So our football program's in the right path. It was election night, and
also now,
Mayor, this was the swearing-in ceremony.
Yes, sir. Yes, right.
The swearing-in ceremony of newly elected Cole Edwards. Cole Edwards come in, and we swore him in, and he took the place of Chris Jones, who elected to step down for some reasons, just to take care of his family and want to spend some time with his family. So we invited Cole to come on board, and here he is, and we're excited about that.
Yes, we are. And a nice recognition that you did for Chris Jones and his 8 years, after his 8 years of service to the town council. And I really appreciate the fact that you recognized him and gave him a good send-off.
And you know, you had worked close with Chris for those 8 years and everything. Chris was a great asset to the town. He was on the High Country Council of Government Advisory Board, and really represented Sparta to the finest.
Yes, he did.
We're going to miss him. Mike Palier was reassigned or reappointed to, I guess you could say, as Mayor Pro Tem, and Mike does a great job of being the Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, he does. Mike chairs our Krause Park Committee, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a moment, but a good solid member. He's been on the board for a number of years, and good recognition for him to continue to be our Mayor Pro Tem. So
we had to appoint a finance officer, assistant finance officer. Terry McGrady will be taking over that. That was one of Chris's other jobs that he did. So Terry McGrady. Millie Richardson, who also is back on the board now. So Millie, Terry, and Cole will be looking to take some ethics training courses and stuff like that for elected and newly elected, re-elected members. So, you know, we started off with that, and that's a good way that we started off, and a good crowd there.
Oh yeah, we had a nice crowd there. We appreciate the folks that come out and attend our meetings, and I think it's important. And also appreciate the fact that Charlie Scott does this ACTV, and that's a good way for folks to keep up with what's going on with the town business as well.
Yep. And more folks are tuning in, and we appreciate you guys watching what we do. We want to try to give you as much information as we can, as we always will. So we went right into the, Karen Lees was our first speaker with the historic preservation thing that she came up with. And so we got some folks looking at helping our town there.
We do. Just a little more detail on that historic preservation designation. We're in the very early phases. The town of Sparta has been actually placed on the list. So we're just starting that process, but the benefits to that would be that folks who want to invest in our downtown area by purchasing a building and doing some renovations, if they choose, there are tax credits available to them if they follow certain guidelines by the historic preservation. If building owners are not interested in that tax credit opportunity, then there are no restrictions at all. Those folks can remodel and do the work that they want to do with their building. So we really didn't see any downside to this situation. So the council unanimously approved the concept of moving forward with the historic preservation designation. And so that's going to be several months out. I mean, that could be a year or more process. They have to do a request for proposal, have a certified person come in and do the accreditation, and then all that has to be approved by the State Historic Commission. So it's a pretty long, drawn-out process. There will be some funding involved, and this committee now is already preparing letters to send out to downtown merchants, building owners, and just friends in the community who might be willing to help support this initiative. And we appreciate very much the work of Karen Lees and Ricky Brown, Jim Lambie, are the folks who have kind of heading that up. And thank you very much to them.
And one of our neighboring towns down the road has actually went through this. Mount Airy's actually went through this program.
They have, yep. And it's apparently very popular in Mount Airy.
I believe Karen said 90 out of 100 counties participate in this program.
She did.
In the state, so it's a good thing. So we're looking forward for some good things coming out of this. We went right into our budget report with our finance officer Peggy Schote, and happy to say that we come out looking good.
Everything's good, certainly on track. We also reported out for our fiscal year ending June 30th, the budget. We had no issues or exceptions with that budget report. It has been approved by the Local Government Commission. At our January meeting, we will have our auditor, Monty Pintry, will be attending the council meeting and report out to the town council. And I have them the opportunity to ask questions and get answers to any questions they may have about the finances. But I would just say in summary, our audit report was very strong and in all departments. I think the town is functioning very well, and we appreciate the good work that Peggy Schote does for us as finance officer and clerk.
Yes, we sure do. What a great asset she is. Krause Park expansion and improvement project, and we went on and we already have a Krause Park committee, but we added one, and Cole Edwards is stepping up to go onto that board too, and they're going to be in charge of handling this, I believe.
Right. Well, I think what we need, Mayor, we've got the basic scope of work that was outlined in the grant proposal from Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, but there are a lot of details in terms of the handicap accessible restroom facilities, selecting playground equipment that will be replacing some of that old equipment that's been there since the very beginning when the park was formed. So this committee, made up of representatives from our Sparta Revitalization Committee, Chamber of Commerce, and town council members, and also just at large. We've got a couple of at-large members who serve there, and we're going to be using that committee to provide the guidance to us as we go forward with this grant implementation.
So a lot of work there is going to be coming up, and this will be done probably here in the next year or so.
It will be.
So you'll see some work being done at Krause Park here in the spring, summer of next year. Water line replacement and streetscape report. Again, we've been giving kudos to the guys that's out there from Vinoy's. It's really working, doing a great job, and I tell you right now, they have really done a great job putting that water line in.
Well, at this point in time, all the main water line is now installed as of last Wednesday afternoon. They're starting on some storm drain work this morning on the north side of town. They're going to be starting service connections from Grandview Drive going north to Whitehead Street. So all in all, the project is going along at a good basis. I'm very pleased with the progress to this point.
The only thing that I see in the future here is they're calling for snow here in the next week or so.
Right.
So that may give us a little slowdown right there. But to my knowledge, the guys are going to keep working as long as they can.
Well, that's the plan right now. But we also recognize that as we get into these winter months where we could have several days or maybe even weeks, I think we are going to suspend the work at some point in time. And likely on the major streetscape portion of tearing up sidewalks and tearing up the street, I think their decision right now is to postpone that work until late February, early March, and have the guys get started again. So, and along with that, Mayor, we had some discussion at the council meeting about closing down portions of the roads, and we would do that in the interest of safety and also to speed the project up. If we continue to have traffic move through the work zones, then it requires additional personnel for flagging and relocating and merging the traffic lanes and just generally managing that traffic. If we can close certain portions of the road, certain portions of the road, that will allow us to significantly improve the schedule. And in my discussions with the town merchants in the downtown area, there seems to be a consensus right now. They are more interested in shortening the project, closing the road, getting the work done sooner. So that's the direction that we're moving in at this point in time, and we'll have more information coming the early part of next year.
So, the construction continues out there. We encourage everybody to drive safely, drive slowly through town. Enjoy the Christmas lights that's up. It gives you another reason to drive slow through town.
That's right.
And again, a good job of that crew right there. Town does look beautiful lit up at night.
It does. Sparta Lights Entertainment Group have done a really good job. Krause Park looks really nice, farmers market area, all the way out to Sparta School with the trees that the string trees that they put up in the schoolyard there at Sparta School. So again, kudos to Sparta Lights and Entertainment for the good job they're doing in lighting up Sparta.
And everybody else that's putting lights up too on their own behalf and everything. And we encourage that, just to help yourself out and put you some lights up. We went right into your manager's report, and Crestview Booster Pump is almost to the point of we're done with it almost.
Well,
So we're
very
almost
close.
there.
We're almost there. Actually, Wednesday we have our second startup work. We did that 2 weeks ago, and found out that there was a missing component in one of what they call a surge pump. That part has been installed, and Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock we're scheduled to do the startup on that. And at this point in time, we do not expect any issues, and that will be completely operational at that point.
And for the first time in the history of Sparta that I know of, this is a fully integrated system.
That's
now.
exactly
Sparta
right.
is hooked all together.
Hey, it's all together. That's right.
And we have access to shut off water in certain areas here and
That's right.
after this thing. And
Yeah, we can isolate areas that we previously could not, and this fully integrates the Virginia-Carolina water treatment plant. The water that we get from the river now is going to be distributed throughout the town based on this most recent improvement to the system.
we had Mr. Tom Zach come and talk to us again about Halsey Street right there, and we're continuing our study on that right there, but we did get a letter from DOT.
We did. We had, based on some recommendations and discussion by the council, requested that they DOT do a traffic study. They did do that study, and they are not favorable to do any traffic light installation at that location. So we're continuing to move forward. We are stepping up the enforcement in that area for speeders. So just a word to folks out there, if you travel Halsey Street, we are going to have more of a police presence down there, and we are going to maintain that, that the local speed limits be enforced. So we hope we'll see some improvement in that area.
We had some talk about from some students and got some letters with suggestions from the youth, which I thought was very, very good. We're trying to get them involved, how they see things through their eyes.
Absolutely.
And you got 3 good little letters right there.
I did. We had letters from 3 students, and one of the letters suggested that we increase the number of recycling bins and improve our recycling program in Sparta, and we're certainly going to take that under advisement. We work closely with the county over there at the recycling center. So that's a really good idea and one that we are going to pursue. Second suggestion was that we think about a movie theater. That's, again, good ideas. We're glad to hear these ideas. I'm not sure that the movie theater or the third idea, roller skating rink, will fall too much within the preview of what the town's investments would be. But as we get our streetscape underway and the improvements at Krause Park, if we have the opportunity for a private investment to provide more activities for the students and the young people in town, we are certainly going to be supportive of that idea. And I really do appreciate these young students taking the initiative to write a letter and put their ideas forward. So thank you to those students.
So that's great, and we try to get our youth involved, and that's the future.
Yes, it is.
And if you want to keep the youth here, we got to listen to them too, to see what their ideas are and those kind of things. And having worked with the youth in the football program and everything, they've got some good ideas, and some of them are out there, but some of them are good ideas too. Right. So we really appreciate that. Here we are getting ready to close out a year, and I just want to, before we close our show here today, I just want to tell you, Brian, I appreciate everything that you've done for us this year, all these years that you've been a part of the town manager. Our council is out there doing a good job representing our town. We've got a great staff. Our maintenance guys, I can't give them kudos enough for what they've done here in the last little while, this past year. Really doing a great job. And when you get down in those ditches and you're in waist deep water and it's cold and you're trying to fix that water line,
Yep.
You know, a pat on the back just ain't enough.
You're right, and we do appreciate the hard work those guys do, and thank you for your comments, and we look forward to happy holiday season and Merry Christmas to everyone, and we'll be back in January.
January 7th is our next town council meeting. We encourage everyone that has something that they'd like to say, come on out. Just come visit with us, sit there and listen. Come on and see what we're all about there at Sparta, North Carolina at the Town Council Room on January 7th. For Brian Edwards, I'm Wes Brenniger. I'm the mayor of Sparta. And from all of us here in the town of Sparta, we wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.